What's up, Mike? Surprised you're not out there fishing. How's my audio? I'm using my laptop. Haven't used this laptop for streaming yet. Usually I use my phone. Audio good? We got four people on. Comment, let me know who's on here. Sounds good. All right, you were catching striper and walleye. I caught those two striper all the way up on the side of Belle Isle. Yeah, I want to learn how to fly fish. I was just talking to some guys at Department of Fish and Game the other day about that, shooting some content. How far away are you fly fishing? Is it more than 2 hours? Really? Do I subscribe to your channel? Hold on, let me jump over another computer and subscribe real quick. I thought I had all the other YouTubers. Harrisonburg. Okay, I got family in Harrisonburg. Hold on, let me come find you. And you're on YouTube, right? Are you on YouTube? Okay. What are you? Mostly Instagram. Okay, fly fishing. Well, let me get my phone. Yeah, I'm down to do a collaboration. Get you in front of my camera, get me in front of yours, get you on my podcast. Y'all see, let's see if I can get this in here. There you go. You got a little bit of it. Everybody knows I started a podcast, right? So just plugging myself there. Started a podcast. Um, all right, at Virginia Fly Fishing. I am looking for you right now. If I could spell Virginia right, I might find it. Gotcha. All right, I just followed you on Instagram. Shameless plug is good. Hey, got to do what I got to do. That's actually why I wanted to do this live stream. So, no problem, brother. We'll hook up. Let's see. It's going to be a while. So, let's see. I've got some people dropped off, but I'm going to leave this up so anybody can come by and watch this too. It's going to be a while before I fish. So, I actually had to have surgery. Mike already knows that. He's in the chat. So what I wasn't expecting, I had to have surgery on a fairly large hernia. So I know I committed to 2 videos a week, but that's going to be really hard to do right now. I literally can't do anything. I have a 20-pound lifting restriction for another 3 weeks. Actually, I'm still in week 1. They told me 4 weeks lifting restriction. So yeah, that means no real fishing for the most part, or moving kayaks or boats or anything. So that's going to slow me down. But I just wanted everybody to know what was going on with me. I know some people were, and I'm on the really good pain meds. So driving and all that sort of stuff is kind of weird. But that's the one thing I wanted to give you guys an update on that on the live stream. Two, if you don't follow my Instagram or my Facebook, please go do so. I had a really, really good meeting the other day. I was actually invited to come down to Fish and Game main offices, Department of State Fish and Game for the state of Virginia. And I drove up 95 on pain medicine, in pain, because the seatbelt was on my surgery scars, but it was worth it. I wouldn't have missed that meeting for anything. Being invited to come, I had a full tour, had about a 2-hour meeting with the marketing team, the outreach team, met everyone in the building. Yeah, it's in Villa Park, and it was fantastic. A lot of stuff planned. They want to do a lot of things with me for the people in the state. So Fish are biting in Minnesota. I'm glad the ice is finally gone. Oh, it hurts to laugh. Woo, I can't laugh. Don't make me laugh. But so a lot coming with that. The channel, the brand is definitely growing, and I want to thank you guys for that. We've got collaborations coming with Appomattox River Company, collaborations coming with Department of Game and Fish, collaborations with other YouTubers, and some special events that we're going to be a part of in the Richmond area. So definitely the channel's growing. Is this camera too high? The channel's, I feel like you need to see my hands moving. My Kung Fu talking skills. The channel's definitely growing, and I appreciate all you guys for that. Let's see, what was it? That was 2, 3. I don't know where we are. Something else I need to let y'all know about. If you saw the thumbnail, check that little image out right there. All of those are destroyed. So they're all broken. I'm literally down to one camera. The channel has one camera. If you're not on YouTube, I think there's a belief that this was my baby. This shot 90% of my footage. But it's done. I tried the rice. I tried everything. If I plug it up to a charger, it tries to catch on fire. It won't turn on. But after being on YouTube for 3 years, this channel actually does not sustain itself. Everything I've done on Way of Fishing up to this point has been out of my own pocket. The channel does not make any profit. The belief in how much money a YouTube channel makes is kind of wrong unless you do a YouTube channel, and then you realize how much money you don't make. But all in all, the total amount of money I've made in a year on YouTube might replace this. So, yeah, I got 3 broken cameras, and I've made enough money to maybe replace this. So if you've also followed my social media, you've seen that I put one of my boats up for sale. I'm trying to sustain the channel, guys, and the only way I can do that is to try to leverage all of the assets that I have. Launching a guide business, trying to launch a website, got the channel, got the podcast, got everything I told you guys was coming up, and it's all being funded out of pocket. If you follow the channel for a while, you know too that I left a soul-sucking job. So that too is on top of all of it. But we do have a camera, so the channel will survive because there's one GoPro. There's one. We're gonna have to protect that one GoPro because that's the only thing I got left. If you guys like the content, if you guys want to help out, what I'm asking is go visit my Patreon. If you haven't been there, just go by and take a look. Once the live stream's over, I'll put the link below. You can go back into one of my older videos and you can actually pull the link and you can go and check my Patreon out. I think I've got some really fun things listed. But if you could, $1 a month. I know this sounds like one of those infomercials on TV, but if everybody gave me $1 a month, that would be incredible. $1 a month from half of my subscribers would be 10 times the amount of money I've actually made on YouTube. But just $1 a month, $12 a year, and that would help me replace a camera. That would help me pay for the website. That would help me in so many ways. So if you can, and if you like the content, and if you want to try to help out, please go check my Patreon out. I'm also going to be putting something on Patreon, and I don't know if you guys knew that I started a guiding business. Let me tell you what that is. So it's the Way Outdoors. The website's not up yet because that costs money, and I'm trying to be frugal with my business here. But real quick, the Way Outdoors, and I have 3 clients right now. Don't think of me as like a guide service, but if you want to learn fishing, then I'm like, think of me like a fishing tutor. Okay. So, say you don't have a kayak and you want to experience kayak fishing. I actually do trips. Okay. I'll bring a kayak to you, within 2 hours of Richmond. I'll pack up the kayaks. I'll bring them to your water, private water, public water. I'll find the water, whatever you want to do. And I'll come up to you and then I'll take you out. I'll supply the kayak and fishing rods, all that. If you need it, you got to supply your own food and water. But life jacket, fishing rod, tackle, and kayaks, I'll supply. The way that normally works is the first hour just to cover my travel expenses, hooking up, packing everything up. It's $100. For however many hours you want to pay for the day, it's $20 an hour. Okay. Up to 2 people with me. So that's 3 total people in the party. But what I'm doing right now for the next month is I'm waiving the hourly fee. So anybody who doesn't have a kayak who wants to get out and experience kayak fishing, actually I can't take you out. Darn it. So for the next month, I'll waive it. And then what's this? This is July. So August. If you book a trip in August, all you have to pay is the $100 setup fee. I will waive the $20 per hour fee for a full day trip. So you can go out for a full 8-hour day for just $100. Okay. So anybody who wants to book that, email me, DM me on Facebook or Instagram, or go to the Patreon. I'll put a purchase for it on my Patreon since my website's not up yet. But you'll be in a feel-free kayak with paddle, with life jacket. Bring your own gear, and you can experience kayak fishing. Again, that's just a special that I'm going to run for anybody who books a trip for August in the month of kayak walleye. Sounds like a plan. If I could get one, Mike, I sure would. But anybody who books a trip in July for the month of August, all you will have to pay is a $100 fee for an 8-hour trip. I will waive the other $160. Okay. That's a heck of a deal to waive over half the cost of a total trip with me. But also go look, because I do over the phone coaching. There are sessions you can buy where you get a phone number from me. And if you're out in the water and you're stuck, again, this is for people who are beginners. You're out in the water, you're stuck, or you're struggling with something at home. Maybe it's learning how to cast, lure selection, dealing with something. You can actually reach out to me through Google Hangouts or through a phone. And I will respond to you right then, and we can kind of talk through your problem. So I do a lot to help people. A lot of beginner fishing stuff. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people need help tying a knot, or they're in dicks and they just don't know what kind of rod to buy. So I've met people up at Green Top, and they paid for their 30-minute session at Green Top. We walked around and actually picked out tackle. None of this has been on the YouTube channel because these people are learning. So it's your option whether you want the trip or the time to be filmed on YouTube. Most people don't, because they're learning. They don't want the pressure of being on YouTube and they don't know what they're doing. So just putting it out there, letting you guys know that I do that also. But please go check out the Patreon, because I need some help, fellas. Replacing all these cameras is difficult. That's 3 cameras down. I've got a GoPro 5. I've got a 5, and that's all I've got left. I've got a 5, and I've got my big camera. Big camera is not going to work on the water. So how did I break the cameras? There's a video that's going to be coming out. I was invited to a river near Loudoun County, and I was invited. I didn't know where this was. I'd heard tales of it, and we went bass fishing for smallmouth. Ended up catching smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass, red ear sunfish. It was tremendous. When I tell you guys that, and I don't have it all on camera because I broke the camera at a certain point, I just packed the cameras up because the river it's not a river for beginners. And it was just brutal on my gear. But I packed the cameras up because Rod and Arrow, good morning. I packed the cameras up because after I broke the session, I just couldn't afford to break the other camera that was with me. But I'm going to tell you guys, I saw 8 smallmouth boated over 17 inches. One was 19. 20 inches is a citation in the state of Virginia. Twin City Outdoors, I know that a 19-inch smallmouth is nothing for you guys up there in Minnesota. But down here, a 20-inch smallmouth is something to behold. So I saw multiple fish over 17 inches, one fish pushing 19, actually dead on 19 on the bump board, not to mention all the fish we missed that were the same size. Even if I had the cameras running the whole time, I wouldn't post it because I did some things that were not safe. And I definitely don't want to promote people doing things that aren't safe on the water. I.e., we went through a lot of rapids. I went through several class 3s in a fishing kayak, which is not, I don't condone that. Don't go out and do that. We had 4 boats in our party. 2 of them flipped. Someone else actually was on the river and they flipped. They broke their paddle. And they still had about 8 hours to go. Because once you go in this river, there's no getting out. At places, we had rock walls that had to been 100 feet high. So you have to make it to the end to get out. And this person snapped his paddle in half. He was in his kayak, and he was literally paddling like old school canoe style. And he had 8 hours ahead of him. I felt really bad for him. There's nothing I could do to help him. But it was one of those lifetime experiences, really. And shout out to everybody who was involved in inviting me and taking me out there. They did let me film. I couldn't film where we put in or where we pulled out. And like I said, I broke the camera. So does that tell you how brutal that place was? GoPros, GoPros bit the dust. I was surprised I didn't see a bear. If you look on my Instagram, there's pictures of smallmouth, and I think I posted a video of a spring coming off a waterfall, cutting through the. It was amazing, amazing. I can't wait to go back, but I won't be going back until August, or at least until the doctor releases me. But that's what happened to the GoPros. This other GoPro, it did not get wet. This GoPro got wet. Okay, so two of them destroyed by impacting rocks in the river. This GoPro, the screen ring actually broke and it still worked. And so I was like, yeah, I can still use it. The screen's broke. But what that does is it makes the furthest point the lens. The lens sticks out farther than anything now. And I cracked the lens. So it will record, but you get a gray haziness in the film. I'm already not at 1080p, so I couldn't afford running 720 with the distorted footage. But so that's done. The battery pack is still good. I still got my GoPro, backpack. But that was a GoPro with a screen on it, Hero 4 Silver, and she's done. So again, please visit my Patreon, book a trip with me, help support the channel so that I can keep this going, because you just joined and I am down to one camera. That makes me very, very, very nervous to be down to one camera and having a YouTube channel and a podcast to take care of, especially since I just got all this momentum with Department of Game and Fish, and I don't have cameras. So there's a lot of things they want to do. There's a lot of things Appomattox River Company wanted to do, and I don't have cameras. So if you're looking for a boat and you want to drive to Richmond, I am selling one of my boats to try to help support the channel. And again, hoping you guys will go to my Patreon and support me. I'll put that link below when the live stream is done. I think that's everything. And to make sure everybody knows that we do have a podcast. Testing, 1, 2. I enjoy doing the podcast. It's rough hearing myself talk for so long, trying to edit it. But I enjoy the podcast. I'll be reaching out to some of you guys for podcast topics. There's only so much creativity one brain can come up with. But drop a comment. We've still got another 15 minutes on this live stream. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Good morning did I recognize everybody in there? Yep. I got everybody. Hey, Fly Fishing Adventures, are you still there? I don't know. He might have dropped off. So give me a question. Typing on this laptop is weird. I keep hitting the touchpad and it just jumps my text all around. So it's very hard to do. Oh, I may be getting something may be changing with my kayaks here. Something I've been hoping for and working towards. So there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on. So I hope that this continues to grow and to blossom. What size and type of line are you using for the Ned rig? Ooh, good question. I saw there's a lot of new jig heads out for Ned rigs. I just spilled coffee on my face. I use 8 pound. I use 8 or 6, but again, I'm very comfortable using ultralight line. There's a hey, what's up, Ricky? There is hey, Ricky, make sure you go back and watch the beginning of it. I'm gonna leave this live stream up so people can go back and watch it. But back to the Ned rig, I use 8 or 6. I'm a true finesse fisherman, so I don't feel that you can really be effective. I use braid to mono, either braid to mono or braid to fluorocarbon. I don't tie straight off to braid. Again, I'm a diehard finesse guy, and I feel like when you're using something that small, because if you watch in clear water, if you watch a fish look at a Ned rig, they get right up on it. Like they nose up right to it, and they're just looking at it. And I really feel like they're going to see braid if you tie straight braid. But I use 10 pound braid to an 8 pound or 6 pound fluorocarbon leader. But I don't use the Ned worms. On my Ned heads, I'm using these, which are the Nico Helgramites, if I can get that to focus in. I use the Nico Helgramites. And there's a video I just put up where I'm giving away this pack of Helgramites. But that's what I use. They float tremendously. They last. I fished with one for an entire day, catching river piranha and smallmouth, and it didn't come apart. The jig head did disintegrate. If you go look at that video, the jig head, the paint came off, the weed guards broke off. I still had the same bait. But I'm looking at it because being a finesse guy, there's a company that just came out, and one of the YouTubers up in DC, thanks Mike, one of the YouTubers up in DC promotes it, but it's a Ned head on an EWG hook. It's not a light wire EWG hook. So as most bass fishermen do with most things, people take a finesse tactic and they slowly whittle it away back to heavy gear. If lifted, yeah, I think so. I didn't want to say the name. Hey, what's up, Caleb? But if you've got a heavy wire hook on a heavy lead head and you're throwing a 6-inch worm on a 3/0, that's no longer finesse to me. Now you've taken a finesse tactic and just made it basically into a shaky head. And shaky head used to be a finesse tactic, and now you got guys throwing it on 20-pound test too. You guys we just can't get away from heavy line, man. But I think that at a certain point, it's no longer the finesse tactic that it was. I think that now what you're seeing is that the Ned rigs are no longer the Ned rigs. They're not the Midwest finesse that they were. People are taking them into a different realm, and that's okay. Things evolve and we innovate, but I think that we need to stop calling it a Ned rig. Because it's no longer a Midwest finesse rig. It's no longer Ned rig. Once you have, a 3/8 ounce head on a 3/0, 4/0 EWG heavy wire hook, it's not a Ned rig anymore. I love shaky heads too. If you're just getting on the live stream, please, when I post this, please go back and watch the beginning. I covered quite a few things in the beginning of this that I need everybody to hear. Just updates on me, my health, and the status of the channel right now. Oh, I have a Twitter too. Way of Fishing RVA, at Way of Fishing RVA. So you can follow me on Twitter if any of you have Twitter. Outdoor Adventures with the Beard. What's up, dude? Oh, it's no problem that you saw it late. Just when it posts, if you would, go back and watch like the first 5 or 10 minutes of it for me. The Beard. But you know what, Ricky? They did shut the comments down completely, but I think that Catfish and Carp has his comments back. His kids are still in his videos, and I was able to comment on the video, so I'm just not clear on what's going on. So I'm just scared. It's hard to get clarity right now. Yep. All right. Well, it's 10:43. Can I email YouTube? I'm not big enough. They won't listen to me. I'm not that big yet. If I get 100,000 subscribers, then I'll have somebody I can talk to. But I'm not big enough yet. All right, Ricky, see you. Guys, I'm going to jump off here in another 2 minutes, 10:45. I was hoping to keep this around 30 minutes long, but I'm probably going to get off here soon. Got to do stuff with the kiddos. Appreciate you guys. Remember, if you got in here late, go back and watch the beginning of the live stream for me, please. At least the first 10 minutes. I might try to edit it and cut out the rest of the stuff. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I won't be able to pick that motor up until August. I could probably get somebody to load it in my truck and then drive it out there, but I can't lift it. We've also been trying to work on my outboard. I did have a patron supporter donate me the money to buy all the parts to try to fix my outboard, and I appreciate that. But we've run into some problems trying to actually get the bolts loose and get everything rebuilt. It's really difficult. But Anthony, I was thinking about putting nuts on those studs and welding them and then trying to back them out again. But whatever we do, I mean, you can't helicoil a lower unit. So I don't know. My buddy said to try something called Croil, Kroil, Croil oil. Said it's better than PB Blast. Okay. Yeah, if I can get somebody to load it in the truck, I'll bring it over there. I think it's probably too heavy for Fishing Kid to pick up and load in the back of my Yoda. So, but again, guys, I'm going to jump off here. Please go back and watch the first part of the podcast where I update you guys on my surgery, my health, the status of the channel, and we talk about how the channel now is down to 1 GoPro because 3 of them are broken. Very important. I really need you guys to hear that. So, and also, I'm running a special. Anybody who books a kayak trip with me, if you don't have a kayak and you want to experience kayak fishing, anybody who books a trip with me, I'm going to waive the $20 per hour fee that I normally charge and just do the $100 setup fee for 8 hours of fishing. So normally the trip is $100 setup fee, $20 per hour. You buy however many hours you want, whether it's half a day, full day, 10 hours, whatever. I'm gonna do an 8-hour trip, waive that, and so the 8-hour trip will just be $100. I'm only gonna allow you to book with me through July for trips in August, and then after July, it's gonna go back to the normal rate. So, but anyway, thanks for being on my live stream, and I will see you guys in the next video. Fish your way.